Good morning and welcome to Where Entrepreneurs Thrive. My name is Russ Nolting. I'm the Regional Director of Keller Williams Realty, Colorado. On this week's episode, we're speaking with Ian Atha to discover how he became the entrepreneur we see today and what makes him thrive. Ian, welcome to the podcast.
Russ, how are you, brother?
Doing all right. Hey, let's dive right in. Tell us your story. How'd you get into real estate and how'd you find your way to Keller Williams?
Yep. So real estate, my wife is a real estate agent and she essentially built a business. So I kind of married into it. I finished my degree back in 15, non-traditional, went back to college, was in the .com business way long time ago, late 90s out of high school, was in the marketing, got my marketing degree. We're like, we're going to go back and move to LA or San Francisco for marketing. And my wife's like, why would we do that? We have a thriving real estate business here. So I jumped right in. I was already working on the back end side of things. So with, marketing, building systems, the books, the finances, building all, the 33 touch, building all that out, but it was not on the front end until 15 got licensed. So 8 years licensed. My wife pretty much taught me everything, including, quite frank investing. And I just kind of took off from that. And my side note, my mom's a real estate agent and my grandpa had a brokerage. My great grandpa had a brokerage in Michigan, which I never thought I'd be in real estate. I thought I'd be in marketing. But real estate is marketing if you're doing, in my opinion, a great job for your clients. So there you go.
Awesome. So now have you been in Montrose all your life?
No, I've been here 15 years now. I'm from Northern California and had an epiphany a long time ago, like in 2000, that someday I'd be in Colorado, snowboarding where the beer flows like wine, the women flock like wild capuchanos, So anyways, ended up out here, long story or short story, whatever you want, but ended up out here. We love it here. Great place to raise a family. The snowboarding and the outdoors here is fantastic. The rivers are getting going right now. The quality of life here is unbelievable. So we are very, very grateful and blessed to live here.
That's awesome. So your wife got into the real estate business. Was she initially with Keller Williams and then you joined her at Keller Williams or?
No, we were at a boutique brokerage here locally and then switched over in 2010.
Okay.
So really for us, the trough in the market for us, 2010 was like horrible. So we actually couldn't make our mortgage payment one time. I was actually guiding whitewater rafting and teaching snowboard lessons and going to college for business. So we were broke as a joke. It was funny. I call it the PBR budget. So we could afford PBR, but not Coors Banquet, right? So
right. I love it. How did you guys find your way to KW?
So a friend of ours, Bernadette Waltrip, she and my wife were doing accountability and coaching together. They're doing actually the Brian Buffini together.
Yeah.
And, Bernadette was like, hey, you got to come over. Here are the systems we're running. Here are the models. We weren't getting the training we wanted at the boutique brokerage or the support necessarily. It was a really small boutique. And so my wife actually went to family reunion with Bernadette, I believe. And that's really what got her pumped and fired up for coming over to KW.
Awesome. So, so you got into the business as a licensee in about 2015.
Yeah.
Tell us about the growth of your business. I mean, and tell us what it looks like today.
Yeah. So the growth of our business, not easy, but simple, right? So we're running essentially the MREA model. We're at a 5, transitioning from a 5A to a 5B business. Okay. So we just hired on, the full-time buyer's agent that we have, he transitioned to full-time listing agent. We have a listing coordinator / manager that's part-time, who also runs our team marketing. We have a full-time director of operations, full-time transaction coordinator, one buyer agent in production, and we are definitely needing another buyer's agent in production. So we're short of buyer's agent essentially. So we started from my wife essentially being like a mega agent, just doing everything with one assistant. She was doing like 50 deals a year and we were doing fix and flips together while I was going to school, and her like smokers coming out of her ears. Our marriage was actually, it was, I almost took her cell phone and threw it across the room because, she's taking texts at 10 o'clock at night in bed from, high net worth clients who are like, demand you answer right now. So we end up just starting slowly leveraging, adding a, full-time admin. And then we had actually two full-time, one transaction coordinator, one assistant full-time, and then we had a full-time buyer's agent. I came on and I was an internal ISA, which I didn't know the term, but
Mhm.
I was the internal ISA and listing specialist for like probably 3 years. So I'd take all the leads coming in, warm them up, and hand them off to the buyer's agent. So she was doing like 50 deals a year. The buyer agent was. My wife was also managing everything. It was a lot, but we're kind of on. We did follow the model, even though it's messy. But we were following the model, and today last year we did. I mean, last year's a banner year. It's like Toys R Us sales on Christmas. I mean, it's not every year's like this, right? But we did 1.7 million GCI, 142 units. 75 of those were listings, and that was our fiscal year. So we run a fiscal year from November 1 to October 31st.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why we do that if you want as well. But yeah, that's the long and short of it.
So just curious, with the market kind of changing,
Yep.
really, I mean, started changing in July of 2022, I mean, on a national level.
Yeah.
What's this year looking like for you guys? Are you continuing to grow, or are you seeing some challenges?
Yeah, so I think I scared my team last fall. I bought Charge the Storm t-shirts and mugs and Charge the Storm, toothbrushes. I mean, we had it all, right? So I don't think they make those, but yeah, so I was prepping everyone, and the storm, I don't know if it's really showed up yet for us in Montrose. Obviously unit sales are down around 35% on units.
Yeah.
Prices are stabilizing. They're down 10%, they're stabilizing. It all depends on the rate. So I'm looking at like November and going, winter may hit and never go away for a year and a half or a year. So that's what kind of how I'm prepping. I have actually a list on my phone. I do a Sunday morning planning tool every Sunday, and I review how to prepare for the storm. And that's part of my 1 year, 5 year goals review. I look how to prepare for the storm. So I have that list. We could share it. But so I'm preparing by obviously hoarding cash, having inflation protected assets, hold a little bit of gold in an ETF. And as far as systems go, just prepping, having a big reserve fund, and just doing the fundamentals, and having the idea that, hey, if things really suck, it's okay, because markets have cycles. And the good news is we can acquire market share, and then I can actually hire people who are quality, because it's pretty hard to hire people right now because unemployment's so low. So I see it as opportunity. I feel like the whole old guard just going away. Like NAR did a survey 3 years ago or 4 years ago. They said if you were to leave real estate, what would have to have happen? It was a massive change of technology, which already happened, and then a shift in the market. And so the shift is happening. It's just happening slower than what I thought it would happen 3 months ago. But it's slowly shifting in our market, at least.
Yeah.
And depending on rates, I mean, inventory is stinky. So it's interesting. It's a quagmire. It's very interesting. So,
and it's interesting that there's a pretty significant delay between a market downturn and the realtors leaving the business. And we always see this funky spot where sales have dropped. There's less business out there, but the realtors haven't awakened to this yet. And man, when they start leaving, then it gobbling up market share becomes a bit less challenging, huh?
Yeah, and it's okay. I mean, I think the thing is just to have faith in the process, and it's not easy. And doing the fundamentals of what you do every day.
Yeah.
So, and having a reserve fund and not being ignorant about either, and obviously having your costs down, doing chronic exercises, and showing up, shooting up every day, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. Last fall, KW added a purpose to our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspective. And the purpose that we added was that we were a place where entrepreneurs thrive. And just wanted to get your thoughts around KW as a real estate company where entrepreneurs thrive.
Yeah, so I love the fact that we shifted that. Essentially, I mean, it's funny, like when I first think about that and I saw that, branding, KW lets you brand your own logo and kind of run with your own theme.
Yeah.
And even the team is essentially a mini brokerage model inside under a brokerage. And so I feel like there's a ton of training and leverage opportunities that KW provides to let you be an entrepreneur or not. Some people,
Mhm.
they want to be intrapreneurial, which is essentially what my team members are, who are, have shares in the business, right? And
Yeah.
I think there's a ton of freedom, a ton of there's not. Entrepreneurs don't like to be controlled necessarily, and
Right.
I feel like KW is really soft-handed with how they manage me and how they come to help and support. And yeah, just there's other people doing the same thing, other entrepreneurs doing the same thing, running teams and or running solo agent models. And yeah, I 100% think it's spot on, and I think it's a pretty wise transition, or just the way. I think it's been like that the whole time, in my opinion, but we kind of branded it, which is
Yeah.
cool. So yeah.
Yeah. I think we kind of captured a purpose statement that is really quite descriptive of who we've always been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Besides retail, residential real estate, what other business ventures are you currently involved in?
Yep. So we own long-term rentals, which is pretty standard for most real estate agents who start to invest. We obviously invest in the stock market, and pay close attention to that because high net worth clients always want to talk about that.
Yeah.
We have done fix and flips. We did three or four of those back between like 2013 and 15, and then the margins got really thin. So we're like, we're pretty conservative, by the way, investors. So
Yeah.
we're like, nah, the margin's too thin. So we started doing, we did some spec building, and did great on those. And then just recently, obviously build and sell, right? And then
Yeah.
just recently we built a short-term rental property in the mountains here locally in Uray. In
Oh,
town, 5-minute walk from the hot springs. So it was kind of a dream bucket combined with an
yeah.
investment bucket.
Yeah.
So we built the business around managing that short-term rental. So it's actually a lot easier than what I thought it would be, just
Mhm.
because technology leverages you big time. So we're running our first full, peak season here coming up, and we'll see how that does. But we have projected, you know, income of 50 to or profit of 50 to 150 a year. So we'll see how it goes. But we're excited about that because we get to go use it also once a month. So
Right.
kind of call it a lifestyle asset, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's cool. So it's been work. I mean, it's definitely been work. We're gonna go up there today and finish the landscaping and go plant 30 columbines and you know 50 lupin, but this
Right.
afternoon.
Yeah.
But it's fun. We like working. So I
And
mean,
who doesn't like to be in Uray in the summertime?
come on.
I mean,
So yeah.
it's amazing. So I love asking this question of realtors and entrepreneurs. Every realtor has like a secret sauce. It's like the thing that you do better than anybody else in the business. What's that for you, Ian?
Do you want it on a systems level or like a personal level?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So on a personal level, I'd say consistency.
Mhm.
So I pretty much do the same thing every morning. So wake up at 5, have a quiet time with the Lord,
Mhm.
meditate on scripture, pray. And a lot of times it's been way more simplified where I just sit there, I do a few gratefuls, and I just look out the window of the mountains and I just think.
Yeah.
And I may pose one question and look for the answer to that one question, or journal about a topic or question, and I typically get revelation insight on business to relationships. It's cool. And you just a sense of calm, sense of peace. Go to the gym, work out, eat a breakfast, and then come to work. Yeah, I'm typically 8:15. So
Yeah.
those two first things, the quiet time and the gym, that's what totally fuels me to, I feel like, succeed. And on good days, on bad days, on hard seasons, easy seasons, highs, lows, that's I've been doing that for probably 15 years.
Yeah.
So anyways, just the simple habit of that. So,
Yeah.
and
Do you have any mentors around that practice? I mean, I know a lot of people struggle with this. In fact, I was talking to an agent here in Missouri recently, because we started a wellness coaching at our market center, and
Yeah.
this entrepreneur said, hey, top producers, they love to sleep in in order to get like sufficient rest. And I thought, gosh, that's like the exact opposite of how I think, and I think that's probably the opposite of how you think. Any mentors around that, or any direction you would give someone who struggles with creating that morning consistency?
Do you know what time I go to bed?
Pardon me?
Do you know what time I go to bed?
I'm guessing 9 o'clock.
8:30.
Yeah.
I start, I have a cup of tea, start reading about 7:45, 8. I read weird stuff like, Roman Empire history and stuff like that. And I start like just dozing off, and then sure enough, I get in bed by 8:30, and I typically sleep pretty well through,
Yeah.
through the night, and sleep's important. And anyway, so I think that consistency, going to bed early in the morning is or at night, to be able to wake up early in the morning,
Yeah.
all these small things that are basic, boring life habits are
Yeah.
super important. To wake up at 5. You can't wake up at 5 if you're going to bed at 10 or 11. I mean, you can, but
sure.
life's going to suck, and you're not going to be able to have a good workout. So
yeah, I do the same thing. 7:45, my phone pings me, and the ping is put the phone away, and I grab my book. I'm reading Chernow's biography of Washington right now, which is
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
And in bed at 8:30, up at 4:30.
That's so good. There's a thing that we do on our team is, we don't, we turn our phones up at 6 unless there's like hardcore negotiations.
Yeah.
And we turn our phones on at 8 a.m. So I'm not doing email before 8 a.m. I'm not doing emails or any phone calls after 6 p.m.
Right.
And we set those expectations for clients in the very beginning of the listing process or the buyer agent process doing paperwork, right? So they just know that. But you better be in the office at 8.
Right.
And they like that. You text me 8:15, they're like, wow, this guy's a rock star. They'll text me 8:15. You're like, yeah, I told you I'm in the office at 8, like legit, right? And just we rotate on call on the weekends. So for the team, so most team members typically get a few weekends a month. So I cover for them, they cover for me on Saturdays, and just having that work-life balance, so you can be on when you're on and off when you're off. And you're not like when me and my wife were in 2015, where I'm going to throw her phone across the room because the high net worth guy is like texting, having anxiety about inspections, like, at 10 o'clock at night. So
absolutely. So you told me about the secret sauce for personal.
Yeah.
And that's consistency and routine. What about for business?
So for business, I would say, so we really pride ourselves and have a lot of fun with it with our marketing package. Mm-hmm. We just launched a 2 mil property yesterday in Ridgeway in Uray County, and a really cool mountain property. And we shoot, pretty much we treat every listing like a luxury property. So the marketing that goes into it, unless it's like less than 1,000 square feet, because videos don't look very good in 1,000 square feet. So we shoot a video, we've developed that, produced professionally. And then we do essentially geographic targeting. So if you go to realtor.com, it's really simple. You can do research and find out where all your buyers coming from. So obviously Montrose is a different market than a lot of other markets. There's a lot of high retiree population moving here to retire. Mm-hmm. People escaping areas to come here where it's just more rural, right? So you can go on realtor.com and find out where all your buyers are coming from. And so for this property we launched yesterday, we found the data. Okay, it was like 5 different counties in Texas, and then Denver Front Range, and then the metros, including Phoenix and around Phoenix. So we are doing juiced targeted ads with that video package that's it is hosted on our own team webpage. So we have the ability to target that and blast that. And so then they click on, so these people who are interested in Uray are seeing this, hey, this cool property in Ridgeway just came up. So they click on it, and then we tag them. So we're using like MailChimp's retargeting, Google AdWords network to retag them. And so we spend a ton of money, about $150,000 a year on our listings. And so, we market the team, but we feel like if we market our listings really well, the team will then have that residual marketing and exposure as well. So we'd love, so when we show up to listing appointment, we are getting 3% more than the average agent through our expert marketing package. And so if you do the average purchase price in Montrose of $400,000, 3 times 4 is 12. We're putting $12,000 in your pocket more when it's all said and done if you choose to work with us and we employ our extra marketing package. So that's our secret sauce.
I love that. That's awesome. And are you, I know you and I've had previous conversations about Google and reviews and things like that. Are you the tech guy in the organization? I mean, are you the guy that gets all that?
So we built it like in evolving 13, 14, 15. And then it's pretty much, we built it, had a listing coordinator who didn't have much experience in that, essentially run it and streamline it. So she was running it for like the last, 4.5 years. And then we just retook it over, me and the director of operations. That's what she's doing right now. Cause our new LC isn't hired yet, or she's hired, but won't start until the 12th. But anyway, so that's, that system is built. We have it all documented through Scribbly. So hypothetically, it'll keep running. We just have to keep checking in on it, making sure it's doing what needs to be done, all that stuff. Right. So.
Got it. Awesome. Anything else that I haven't asked you that you would love to share with our audience?
Not offhand, no. I appreciate you, Russ, and taking the reins over, the regional leadership. And the Rocky Mountain Summit was fun last year. We had some good food there and had a good time. And
you're going to be, if you liked it last year, you're going to be blown away by it this year. In fact, we haven't told anybody, but we just signed an agreement to have Jason Selk as our keynote. Jason is like a high performance psychologist, sports psychologist. He was the guy that got the St. Louis Cardinals to the World Series in 06 and 2011. Helps people who are in high pressure environments overcome challenges. And he's written a ton of best-selling books. It's going to be perfect for realtors who are in a pressure cooker right now.
That sounds great.
I'm super excited about it. Tell me about that picture over your right shoulder. It looks kind of interesting.
Okay, yeah, this picture here, this is a pinyon juniper. It's an evergreen, right? And it was shot during, I think it was like April, May, June of like COVID. This was a night when they had that meteorite go across, and this is a pinyon juniper right above the Black Canyon in the National Forest. Yeah. And so my buddy was on Facebook. Hey, I took these shots, and I was going to buy actually a picture of the meteorite, but I saw this, and there's Jupiter and Saturn right there. It's just cool. And I saw that picture, and the morning before, like these quiet times, I had read in Scripture. It said, God saying, "I am like an evergreen. Your fruitfulness comes from me." Wow. And some translations say juniper tree. And so in the wintertime, leaves die, right? Yeah. In the wintertime, in the storm, leaves die, they fall off. But an evergreen always maintains green.
I love that.
So it's just inspirational. I look at that, hey, your fruitfulness comes from me. So that's cool. Yeah.
That is very cool. Great way to end our awesome discussion. I appreciate you, Ian, giving us your time and sharing your strategies and your talents with us. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for your time, Russ.